guess you wonder.
I guess you really wanna know, huh?
I searched to find
That's your
love.
problem, yeah. Check it, she keep asking where I've been, I ask her why she.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? This is Free Game Podcast, back with the third episode. We doing it from the couch today.
From the couch.
Playing a little dominoes too, just keep a little chill set and have a new vibe for y'all. On this episode, we're just gonna do quick rundowns through a lot of different topics. Not our usual format where we do, kind of like three big topics. So we're just gonna go quickly through a few of them. First topic that we're gonna start with is in the NBA. It's between AD and Boogie. We've been seeing what AD's been doing since Boogie's gone down. He's been big. Hasn't scored less than 25 points in the month of January or after the All-Star break. And since Boogie's been down, has had games of 50 points, 40 points, plus 20 boards, 18 boards. Just been playing big. So if we want to talk about AD versus Boogie, who do you guys feel is more valuable to the Pelicans, AD or Boogie?
That's definitely a tough. That's a tough question to answer.
I mean,
you got both. Basically, you got two of the best big men in the league on one team.
The best power forward and the best center.
The best power forward and the best center. Obviously, both being there are both valuable to their team and are needed if they want to get to the promised land and get to a point where they're trying to actually compete for a title. Anthony Davis obviously brings scoring. He can score from the perimeter. He can score from inside. He's a great finisher. Can also dribble and handle the ball, even close, kind of like a guard. Can also get to the free throw line. Also puts a lot of pressure on the opposing team. And then you got a guy like Boogie Cousins that can come in, score from anywhere on the court. Has also improved his facilitating, averaging about 5 assists this year. Still can rebound, averaging 13 rebounds this year.
you got big six.
Tons of post moves as well. And I think when it comes to both of them in particular, you need both. You need both at the end of the day. I think both are valuable. I mean, it's kind of a tough. I wouldn't really be able to say which one is more or less valuable because
I can. It's Boogie Cousins.
Now I'm a Boogie fan.
That's it.
Now.
That's all you
But
need.
I mean, for me, I think the problem is it would have been easier.
both are similar players in a sense.
It would have been easier to say that when Boogie was healthy because the biggest part of the argument is obviously, Boogie don't get hurt.
Cousins misses. Oh, almost got his own rebound.
Big thing right now is just
And he just got.
what happened after he came down.
He's holding the back of his left leg near his ankle. Let's take a closer look at it. Keep a look to the left side right there.
With a season-ending injury, a major injury where
It's on you. We're going this way.
okay. And with a major injury like that, you don't know what a big dude once he starts getting hurt, below the knees.
Torn Achilles.
Those type of things are hard to deal with for big people. So, I mean, I'm not going to classify him as injury prone, but I can't quite say that he's not now. So,
we can only really go off what he's done before the injury. We can't really talk about what he's going to do after he hasn't come back yet. So if we're going to talk about Boogie being more valuable than Anthony Davis in the times that we've seen both, I got to go with Boogie. Just based off what he does offensively, the impact that he has offensively, being the attention that he draws and being the offensive scorer that he is, and then being able to facilitate out of that, he just makes everyone around him better. And AD has had a lack of doing that his whole career. He hasn't been able to show that at all compared to Boogie. Now that Boogie has gotten his defensive side better too, it kind of evens out that argument because before, with AD being such a better defender than Boogie, that kind of swayed the argument a little
Completely
bit.
defensively,
And I mean, with AD being more athletic, and like we said, he's still the better defensive player than Boogie, but that disparity, even like I said, for Boogie Cousins on the defensive side, he's improved. So
he's averaging about 2 blocks a game this year.
Exactly. I mean, just them, the like I said, it's such a small disparity, but I gotta go with Boogie being more valuable.
Yeah, and I think especially,
more valuable. I mean, he can't decide right now. We
It's
might have to
hard
go back to
because
I'm a Boogie. That's the thing. I've always been a Boogie fan. I've always been a huge Boogie fan. When he got drafted, I was always rooting for him, fan of him. said he was gonna be, the best big man in the coming years. He is now. It's just one of those tough situations because they are really similar players, and we have to see what happens, after he comes, back from the injury, but.
Yeah, so if we go,
it's hard too though because when they're on the floor together, I feel like DeMarcus kind of dominates that that pairing. Like,
nah, he does.
There's some days when Boogie will take or AD will take the scoring load. That's fine, but more consistently, who's gonna have the
most
bigger,
dominant? Yeah,
it's DeMarcus. He's kind of
he's too
he's
big
gonna
now,
fill
though.
up. He's gonna fill up more stats in different stat sheets. You know what I'm
will.
saying? He's gonna be in the blocks. He's gonna be in the rebounds. He's gonna be in the
steals.
He's
averaging a steal a game right
now. Behind the points, you're gonna get more triple doubles out of Boogie than you are AD.
You will
on a big, on most nights.
You will, because he'll facilitate.
When Boogie first got traded to the Pelicans, AD was having a little more better games than Boogie. But now that has been in the system
Comfortable
more,
now.
he's more comfortable
I knew I was gonna have him.
That pairing started to sway more towards Boogie. So let's stay on the NBA side of things and let's go to Kawhi a little bit. Let's touch on Kawhi because I think that's a big topic considering how big of a player he is. Being probably the best two-way player right now in the league. Now that LeBron's, on the defensive side has, waned a little bit. PG being the player he is, I think those two. That's no shot to Bron, but he just ain't there as he used to be on the defensive side.
Second time.
So
he ain't never got defensive player of the year, so I don't know.
Why they rob him?
Ooh.
They robbed him. That's crazy.
But that's a big stat that Kawhi does have.
Yeah.
So you know what I'm saying. Just considering that, how do you guys feel about his situation? We've seen, he was hurt. He came back in December. And then kind of got hurt again, and then it looked like he wasn't even trying to play anymore for a little bit. So, what we got so far right now, too, is that, Danny Green said that Kawhi said that he wants to play. He wants to come back, try to come back around in March. So how do you guys feel about that situation with Kawhi? Do you guys think he's going to come back? Do you guys think he might even leave this team in the future? What's y'all feeling about that?
Well, I think what happened was, December or whenever that was he came back, might have scared him a little bit because he came back thinking he was ready. Then other parts of my body are ailing now. So it's like
overcompensation.
Yeah, do I want to continue to try to rush my way back, or should I just chill? We can't quite judge with Kawhi. We don't know. He doesn't talk enough to where we have a understanding of what his thought process is. We don't know what he might be on. So. We can't really call that. We've heard he said he didn't want to be there. I don't know if he's ready to leave Pop in San Antonio. I don't know what his personality truly is. So, but either way, if he comes back, I still don't see them advancing more than one round in the playoffs this year, even if he come back healthy. Yeah. I just think there's other teams with more firepower than that in the West that can compete.
Kawhi and the Spurs, when we're talking about, that combination, obviously, the Spurs they're nothing without Kawhi, especially when you're talking about the playoffs. But if we're talking about Kawhi himself, he's big. He's, like I say, he's one of the top players in the league.
He's
top 5.
Top 8.
Top 8? He's top 5. Top 5.
Ooh.
Top 5.
I don't got him in my feet.
The best defensive player in the league? I don't got him in your top 5? I don't know. I gotta have him in my top 5.
Is he better than LeBron? Is he better than KD? Is he better than Russell? Is he better than James Harden?
I would probably take Kawhi over James Harden.
Is he better than DeMarcus Cousins?
Not better than DeMarcus.
Is he better than AD?
Those are two different positions.
It's two different positions, but if you talk about players in the league.
That's top players.
But I don't know.
Now, Kawhi's top 10.
He's top 7 or 8. If you put him over Harden, he's probably top 7.
I think I could take Kawhi over Harden. Just because of
that's fine. I wouldn't know.
Because of that impact that he has defensively. That's how big he is. Like we talked about the last time we really seen him in a playoff situation against the Warriors with KD at this point. They were up by 20. I know that's a small sample, but that's a big sample.
1/2 of basketball.
1/2 and a quarter.
I think they would have won. I think the Spurs would have won that game. I do.
That game. Yeah, they would have won that game.
But look at his surrounding cast. He did that with just Aldridge and Ginobili, Patty Mills, Pau Gasol. That's not a support. That's not a big support.
Let's talk value real quick.
And
look at the Spurs now without him. They're still the top
Yeah,
three,
they're
top
still
four
top
seed
seed.
in the West.
Yeah. I mean,
Now take
they
James
got
Harden off of the Rockets
Big.
with just CP3.
Big.
And honestly, he has no impact defensively, but his impact in all the other aspects.
I mean, take Russell off OKC. Try that.
With just
I mean,
PG and
take
Melo.
LeBron.
Yeah,
you know, you can't. When you
mean,
talk
but-
about
yeah, but I
value,
mean, that's
Kawhi's
also- but
not
that's
a
also the
game
difference.
changer like them dudes is.
Yeah, he's not. He's not.
He's not?
He's not because
I don't know. I mean,
He's been a number one for what, 1-2 seasons now?
yeah,
he has been a Finals MVP.
Yeah, but that was when he was averaging 17. That was only
Steph
because
Curry didn't get a
you
Finals
know what?
MVP.
You remember that?
Nah,
They
that's
was
true.
about to.
Steph Curry
They
didn't
wanted
get a
to.
Finals MVP.
They was discussing shit. We
because
get
he
to
played like
LeBron.
hoop for 2 years against us.
They team dominated him. It wasn't like Kawhi put the team on his shoulders. and
no, that
No,
locked
no,
LeBron
no.
up and
But
destroyed.
I'm just saying,
LeBron was
at
still
this
averaging
point,
30 that
at this
year.
point, Kawhi's career, what he does offensively and defensively.
Oh no, he's definitely improved offensively.
Top.
I mean,
top
clamping-
7, top
he's
8.
clamping anybody in the league. Clamping anybody in the league.
What do you mean by
Anybody.
clamping?
He's clamping them.
He's
shutting-
gonna play
he's-
good
I mean,
defense, but he's not. I don't know if you're shutting somebody down. Are you gonna shut Russell down?
He can.
I've
He's
seen
done
Russell
before.
dunk on his head.
And I've seen him get clamped up by him
Me?
too. I mean, I don't know. I think
Defensively, he's the best in his position.
He's the best perimeter defender.
He is
that's
the best
fine.
perimeter defender right now. But here's the difference. On that type of team, if you look at the Spurs roster right now, without him, the Spurs roster is still a really good roster. It's not.
And with Greg Popovich, it's a different. You know. I mean,
Yeah. I mean, he doesn't have to do that much, like you said, considering his system, considering his coach. But his impact to that team is still.
Oh,
bigger
no,
than-
it's huge.
They need him to win a championship.
It's MVP level impact, but it's just not more than Russell, James, Bron.
I would say
That's
top
all.
7. I would say top 7.
And I don't think that's bad. I mean,
maybe 6, but he's not. He's not 5.
yeah, I don't think he would be. But and even in his situation right now, when we're looking at the Spurs, there is a little bit of tension. There is a little bit of a situation. He just finally was able to come back and start training with the team, rehabbing with the team again. It's going to be interesting, because he still has 2 more years left on his contract. His last year in 2020 will be a player option. The Spurs definitely won't be trading him at all anytime soon right now, because they want to be able to contend, for a championship, and they need him. He's the core piece. If you look at the Spurs roster right now, without him, the Spurs roster is still a really good roster. It's not.
And with Greg Popovich, it's a different. You know. I mean,
I mean, he doesn't have to do that much, like you said, considering his system, considering his coach. But his impact to that team is still.
Oh,
bigger
no, it's
than-
huge.
They need him to win a championship.
It's MVP level impact, but it's just not more than Russell, James, Bron.
I would say
That's
top
all.
7. I would say top 7.
And I don't think that's bad. I mean,
maybe 6, but he's not. He's not 5.
yeah, I don't think he would be. But and even in his situation right now, when we're looking at the Spurs, there is a little bit of tension. There is a little bit of a situation. He just finally was able to come back and start training with the team, rehabbing with the team again. It's going to be interesting, because he still has 2 more years left on his contract. His last year in 2020 will be a player option. The Spurs definitely won't be trading him at all anytime soon right now, because they want to be able to contend, for a championship, and they need him. He's the core piece in that sense.
I mean, well, yeah, we know that's what the Spurs want, but we also got to consider how he was feeling even during this time, because we didn't even know how he was
I don't know what he's feeling.
Yeah, well,
I don't know what he's feeling.
2 weeks ago, Pop was saying he probably wasn't even going to play this season. Now it sounds like he's coming back probably around March, so we got to also consider, does he even want to be there? Because,
That's true.
He is from LA. Not that any of the LA teams are really something that he would probably want to go play for, but I mean, personally, I don't think he's going to leave. But that's a big thing if he does leave. That takes him over the top, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, it does.
So,
Kawhi gets to a lot of teams. That
No,
takes him
yeah. I
over
mean,
the
he's
top.
definitely.
He can take you over the top.
If you're a good team like the Spurs are without him, and you add him to it, yeah, he might be the piece that takes you over the top.
Wish he could go to the Blazers. Oh man.
He's still a top, like I said, top, 7 or 8 player in the league, in my opinion. Top 5 in Europe, but, he's still that, but I don't think they're
I could
winning more than
switch
a
them
round
out.
this year.
I can switch him out with. If somebody has Steph Curry in their top 5, I'm taking Steph Curry. I'm putting Kawhi.
Steph who?
Yeah, no, let's not say that.
Well, I think James Harden just
I'll
because
put
of what
Kawhi
he-
with Steph. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, me too.
Or even with James Harden. I mean, James Harden. That we were talking about
James
this
Harden
before.
is so consistently so cold and handling
I
such
know
a
it's
workload.
just
Like,
crazy.
James
what he
Harden could have
doing.
been MVP every year these
We
last
saw
3-4
what he
years.
did to Wesley. Wesley, R.I.P. Can we have a moment of silence for Wesley, please?
Wes.
Less
I mean, Wesley, come on. What was you? And then had the nerve to get up and
He
smile
got him
about
slow.
it.
Yeah, he was
No,
like started laughing
you-
about it. Like,
I'm
what
talking about retire.
That's
First of all,
on you. It's on
Draymond
you.
already lashed you earlier this season. Remember when they was playing them? He was like,
Oh, yeah.
hey, get rid of the rebound. He ain't finished nothing in 8 years.
That
Just
was cold.
retire, Wesley.
Yeah, I mean, since we even talking about James Harden, let's talk about him. He's gonna be the league MVP this year.
Yeah.
He's finally gonna get.
But that's what I'm
I
saying.
need him for the play. James,
Could
I
Kawhi
need you
Leonard
for the
win an
playoffs,
MVP?
Yes.
Yeah.
When? How?
No, Kawhi could
If-
win an MVP.
What
Kawhi.
you mean how?
He
If he does
last
what he's
year he
done
was top 3
defensively-
MVP candidate at one point last year.
Yeah.
Was that even a race last year?
I'm saying he's a
James Harden
what?
almost took it from him.
He's an MVP
That-
level.
that
Wait,
was
Kawhi's not
last
an
year.
MVP level candidate?
Russell definitely should have won
Kawhi
it. but
Leonard
James-
will never win an MVP.
Okay, that's a mic though. That's a mic.
Yeah, that's
he has potential.
That's
I don't know
not
if you
a-
can say
that's
I
not
don't
a-
think he has
that's a
that to do 82 games to do that enough to win an MVP because he's not
Well, the
valuable
era
in
that
the
he's
sense
in
of
is there's
your
a lot of
team
great
is
perimeter
still
players.
gonna win 50
Yeah,
plus
but
games
that's-
without you.
But
No,
that's
I'm with
because
you.
of
I'm with you.
Popovich
I'm
more
with
than
you.
anything. I mean, obviously in that system, you're not gonna have to do as much as a James Harden is gonna have to in that team. Like you said, without James Harden, they're nothing, and that's partly on D'Antoni. I mean, that offense is built around James Harden. It shouldn't even be like that, especially considering you have CP3 there.
It's gonna be harder with the perimeter players that are in the league. A player like Kawhi is kind of similar in the sense of to a Paul George, where they may not win an MVP, but they are MVP level type of candidates. You see what I'm saying? Where like Paul George, even if Russell wasn't there, I doubt he would win an MVP. It would just be tough because there are certain parts of his game where, you know, it may lack being able to do everything all the time consistently for 82 games. Those are more similar, you know, in that sense. When it comes to Russ, when it comes to DeMarcus Cousins, even when it comes to Russell, when it comes to LeBron, players like that, I don't think
But look
Kawhi
at what
could
you're naming.
really.
When have we seen Kawhi just blow you away? Oh my God, he just
Last year.
48, 8-8, and locked down. When has he ever just blew you off the water like that? He's never been a player that jumps out to me in that
I mean,
sense.
if they're a number 1 team in the West at some point, and he's doing what he's
I mean,
done
they're top 3 every
defensively,
year though.
and he's top 5 in defense, and he's doing, you know, at 20-some or 25+ points like he did last year, then yeah, he could definitely be an MVP. If Steph Curry can be an MVP, then Kawhi Leonard can be an MVP. Not saying that. I mean,
Yeah, but they love Steph. They be
That's
trying
what I'm
to
saying.
joust Steph.
Exactly.
They don't love
Steph.
Kawhi.
The media gave Steph.
Last year, if Russell didn't do what ridiculous what he did, James would have got it.
That's true.
In the other year, the Rockets kind of remember they fell off and lost a little more games. That's fine. He still had a huge. Ever since he's been with Houston, he's been a top
He
6,
scores
top 7
every
player,
year.
and has shouldered the load just as much as a LeBron has had to, at least offensively. So
No, but I'm playing.
James played with Kyrie.
No, I know. I know.
That's all I'm
Nah,
saying.
James is big. James is
But
big.
as
James
we've
is
talked
big.
about off cam, we don't really care what James Harden does anymore. In the regular season.
Exactly.
Well, and that's
Off the
I
record.
I mean, we know
Come
what
on.
you've done in the regular season. You the
I
one.
need playoffs.
Some of your
now.
regular season before, top 10 all time. You know what you've done in the regular
But
season.
he hasn't had a top 10 all-time playoff game.
playoff run.
Playoff run,
He's had a couple
or,
games.
you
He
know.
hasn't had,
Kawhi's been more clutch.
Yeah,
Kawhi's
I mean,
been-
Oh, no, I thought
Kawhi's
in the
been on better
playoffs.
teams than him too, though.
That's true.
You know.
Well, that's fine.
Kawhi has been
Now
more clutch in the
losing that
playoffs.
game to the Spurs with no Kawhi was just inexplicable,
I still remember.
ridiculous, crazy, disrespectful,
Blasphemous,
demoralizing,
He about to be concussed.
abysmal, Simon Cowell type. You know? So, I mean, that was crazy. But that's what I'm saying. It don't matter what he do. We gotta see it in the offs.
I need it in the playoffs now. We've seen a lot of James in the regular season. I need it in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it's gonna come down to. We've seen him be in the situations where it's been on him to be the clutch dude, and he hasn't shown up.
We need him in the Western Conference Finals this year. If he doesn't make the Western Conference Finals this year, why are we talking about James next year?
CP ain't done it either.
I'm with you. That's what I'm saying.
He's definitely gonna be on in the show in clutch time.
Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, they both wanna.
They both wanna
make that. So,
Yeah.
and they both need to. Cause I need CP.
Yeah, I mean, CP needs a ring. James Harden needs a ring. But especially under this year, since James Harden is gonna win it, it's gonna be a lot on this year. Because if he doesn't do it this year, if he does anything like he did last year,
I'm not
done.
naming him.
I'm not top five conversations. I don't want to hear anybody else put him in there.
That's fine.
And that's it.
No, that's true.
all we gotta talk about.
James, you're lefty. I'm sticking with you. I need to see you cook.
We're gonna see.
Let me just say this before we move on. I will say on the record, I was wrong. I said the Chris Paul experiment wasn't gonna work. They winning games with him. That's fine. We're gonna see what y'all do tomorrow.
I mean, they can take out your thunder though.
We're gonna see if that happens. If that series happens, I'm still taking OKC, and that's on me.
We gonna see.
That's on me, and I'm taking it. That's
We
fine.
gonna see.
But before we switch,
I was right about Nick Foles. Say Nick.
He's still talking about his on that side.
That was the luckiest call he's gonna get
Super
on his
Bowl.
show. I promise you.
That's the luckiest call, I promise.
Show ever.
Wait, his name is Nicholas Foles. We do realize that, right? Okay.
He confused them with Christmas Nick.
That's
dude.
all right.
You know,
Nicholas
Santa
Foles.
Claus.
My first prediction was my first hint at winning. So when it comes to predicting, is there any competition? I think not.
All right, so we gonna move on to the next topic real quick. So we gonna move on to the next topic real quick. Wait, before we move on, who's next? We got a little side track.
I think it's on me.
Okay, it's on Sean.
Yeah,
Sean lost track of all things. Arguing for LeBron.
Give me 10. Give me 10.
So the next topic that we gonna go to is outside of basketball. We're gonna touch on something we haven't really touched on yet in regards to sports. We're gonna touch on the MMA a little bit.
Okay,
Best fighter in the UFC, John Jones. Last time we seen you was putting a whooping on Cormier, and then we see you a little bit weeks later getting drug tested for steroids. So now we gotta figure out what's wrong with you. What are you gonna do next? This is his third time being stripped of the belt. This time he was stripped for steroids. The previous 2 times was stripped for cocaine. So at this point in his career, he's about to hit 30. He's 29, about to hit 30. Where do you see John Jones going from here? Do you think he's going to be back in the MMA fighting? Do you think he's going to be a champion again? Does he even get reinstated? Will he be able to fight ever again? And that's what we talk about now at this point with this dude. I mean, the best fighter in UFC history at this point is struggling to even be able to get reinstated with fighting. So how y'all feel about that? That's big.
I mean,
give me a... Wait, no, it's on.
That's 10, yeah.
Oh, so, yeah. So give me that 10 then.
Honestly, me personally, I think it's going to be tough for Dana White to really, truthfully and realistically be able to trust him. Number one, it has been his friend because it's working employee. But also, at the end of the day, it's a business. You got to be able to trust your employees, and you have to be able to trust that they're going to not only stay in the ring, but also, you know, if they're going to be a poster boy for the sport, that's not a good look. Because it's happened multiple times now. You've had to reinstate him. He's had to go, you know, through trial. He's had to, you know, go through the whole process and stuff like that. And I don't know if Dana's going to be able to really trust him to, you know, be able to come back. And as EJ put it, he's damn near 30. So, you know.
Sports years. You're 60.
Yeah. And you've already been, you know, and now in the last few years, you've been more out than in. So I think personally it's going to be tough. I would like to see him in there in a sense just because he's one of the better fighters in the MMA that we've ever seen.
Well, that's the thing,
not
though.
The best.
You said we know can Dana trust him, but does he even have a choice? Because the best next fighter is Cormier. the champion right
That's
now.
true.
And nobody wants to watch Cormier lay
Well,
on people
we can't-
for big.
But there's
We
integrity.
can't say
too.
that though because number one, Cormier has some type of appeal that some people like. You know.
What appeal does he have?
Yeah, can you explain?
Nah,
There is some type of appeal that people like where, you know how he comes out and he's kind of America needs a champion type.
Kurt Angle type
Yeah,
with it.
Kurt Angle type.
that is how he is.
You know, there's some people that like it. I don't know who. I don't prefer him as my champion.
Yeah.
But he does have an appeal that some people like. So, and UFC ratings are still up without John Jones.
That's facts.
Now, the fact still remains, John Jones still can't fight. I mean, let's not question that.
Nah, he's big.
I don't doubt that he could come back and
Why is he
still beat people up and win matches, but can you get your personal life together? I mean, at some point, it's got to be on you, John.
It's gotta be on you.
Stop doing cocaine.
Stop driving to Albuquerque.
But on cocaine.
On cocaine.
I mean, what did you say?
Like,
I mean, what are you on?
What are you doing?
So, I mean, at some point, he got to take responsibility. That's on him, but...
I mean, yeah, at this point, he's Josh Gordon himself. Just not,
Thank
putting
you.
the money, the legacy, the ability over, you know, whatever drug they want to do or whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's just pointless. You don't need steroids to beat Daniel Cormier. You definitely don't need cocaine in your system.
But that's what I'm saying.
And then to come back bragging about it. Last time I beat you, I was on coke.
I was on coke. So this time I was completely clean. Were you? I'm talking about literally a week after the fight, he was like, I was completely clean. I wasn't on anything. And then you popped.
Yeah.
One too many times, John.
I mean, yeah, this is hard to say. I mean, it's sad. It's sad. You know, it's borderline tragic. If he don't recover, it's really gonna be just, you know,
you gotta join.
just, you know, just a tragedy. But
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna make a bold prediction about it. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say he will come back and he will be a champion again.
Wow.
But he might get robbed of it again. He might pop again. He might lose it, exactly. He might lose the confidence.
That's what's crazy. He might
that's
pop
my bold
again.
prediction. He'll come back, win the title, beat Cormier for a third
so
time.
it might happen again.
But then get caught for the fourth time. So, you know, that's wrong with it. That's my bold prediction.
But do you even give him a shot to ruin himself and the integrity of the whole company
of course,
again?
because you think Dana White is gonna miss out on a paycheck to see him fight somebody, especially if they
Probably not.
That's Dana White. I mean, you know what I'm saying? He ain't gonna miss out on a pay. I mean, because even if he does come back, people are gonna want to see the return of him.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
that's
saying?
true.
That's gonna be big money. He could.
And he has an appeal to him, you know, so people like him being on cocaine.
Yeah, but that's what's great. They love it. Like, okay, John on coke, bring him back.
Yeah, let's see
Bring
him.
him
He
back.
hyper. He go ahead. You know.
Let's see him rehab it again. You know.
I mean, so that was on John Jones. So let's move on to another topic real quick. Let's go touch on the NCAA scandals that have been happening as of late. That's a little funny situation too. You know, a lot of colleges.
Sean Miller.
Preparing you for what's to come when you leave school for the rest of life. And we have a lot of players that have seen a lot, been through a lot, understand what criticism feels like, understands when maybe things just aren't going well, and you learn how to fight through those times.
Coach Sean Miller just got caught he was on the phone talking about paying players $100,000 and whatnot. He got wiretapped by the FBI watching phones, so you know what I'm saying. Let's just talking about these scandals and whatnot. How do you feel about players being paid? How do you feel about the NCAA's feeling about it? Because obviously they don't want to pay players. That's out of the question for them.
It's crazy.
I mean, they're finding laws and the reasons why they can't pay these players, which is ridiculous at this point.
That tells you right there the NCAA is stingy as hell.
Yeah.
If you're stingy enough to go to the petty point of coming up with trying to justify through law that you can't pay these players when you're in billion-dollar business, then there's something wrong with you internally. Yeah, I thought the movie was big. The development of the characters, each individually was crazy. I like what the director Ryan Coogler, shout out to Sac State, corner standards up. I thought what he was able to do as far as the undertones and the way he was able to make the analogies and connections to real life things that we go through and situations we've seen and dealt with was dope. From the way that the Killmonger character had developed what he's seen and the feelings that he felt were something that we definitely can relate to. It's not like he was. The way I look at it, there really wasn't even a villain in the movie because you could understand both sides well. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But just as far as him having a connection to home and wanting to go back home and wanting to see things, that's pretty much the diaspora of the black person in America. There's a connection that we all often seek or long for that we can't necessarily just go seek out, because where do we go? We don't know. How they gonna receive us when we get back? We don't know. How they supposed to view us? They don't know. You know what I'm saying? So that's interesting, the dynamic, how they was able to portray that. And yeah, even as far as it came to like at the end, I thought it was cool, like the whole Oakland connection and how basically the Black Panther came and started up a big, community center in Oakland, just like Hugh P. and Bobby Seale did in the original. So I thought that was cool. A lot of the undertones and a lot of the double entendres and subliminals that was in there, how they were able to incorporate them. It was big, and it just added to the spectacle of the movie.
Yeah, and that's what I liked about the movie so much, honestly, was that the topics that they were talking on, and some of the issues that they were bringing up, and just how culturally sound it was, to a little bit of what we experience on a day-to-day basis. You kind of forget that it was even a Marvel movie. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? It was a Marvel movie. It's a Marvel action movie. We're talking about in the line of Thor's and Captain America's. You know what I'm saying? So, being something so big, in a black culture, and then for it to be able to stand out so completely from what it is, what it was supposed to be. That's true. It was pretty big to see that. It was really cool. And going back to a little bit about, they're not really being the true villain. That's what I liked about it the most was Killmonger's stance on it was just, I'm trying to get back to my people. I was trying to be king, go back and just rule for my people because we haven't had nothing for years. Mm-hmm. And we still getting chopped up in the streets and we still going through these struggles. So I'm just trying to make it right on my people's end. And then T'Challa's thing was on the same thing. He was just trying to keep his people protected because of what we know what white people can do to us. You know what I'm saying? He was like, I'm trying to keep it over here. You know what I'm saying? Where they ain't gotta know about what we doing.
They gonna come get it on the back end.
Exactly. So you know what I'm saying? So seeing both sides of the spectrum and then being able to understand both sides, you know what I'm saying? It leaves you to not really see a villain, but you just see things that you agree with or some things you disagree with. You know what I'm saying? And I agree with a lot of things Killmonger had to say, and some of the things he was feeling.
Yeah,
I agree with a lot of things that T'Challa was saying and feeling. Protect your people, protect your own, but also be able to get back, you know what I'm saying?
The three best lines in the movie all were Killmonger lines. The first one was when he was in the museum taking the thing. She asked him,
"You think?"
He said, how you think your ancestors got these?
Did they pay for it?
Yeah, that was a cold line.
That was cold.
The second coldest line was, and this is, you got to think on this because I'm not going to explain it. The line that made him a villain was when he was talking about where he's from and his background. He was like, I've been with him. I trained with him. I killed with him. I learned to be like them. And he was talking about, his oppressor, pretty much. That's what made him a villain. And then the third bar obviously was when right before he died, when he went out with the bigs, just bury me with my ancestors who jumped off the ship because they knew that death was better than bondage. That was crazy.
Yeah,
bar, so
that was big.
Yeah, those were all big. Something that should leave you thinking.
Yeah, and I mean along with the album too.
The album
was big.
Big shot.
King's Dead. I mean, those are a whole lot of bangers on there, but also just
Smith.
how it went with the movie too, because you can even see some of the parts that were based off the movie. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like even King's Dead, you see it's a lot of angry, and you know what I'm saying, and that's kind of Killmonger's trap. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of things about the album and movie that are similar. You know what I'm saying? You see the symmetry in between it, which I really like. I wish they would have played a little bit more of the music during the movie itself.
Me too.
But
I
still enjoy the album. I'm still banging it right now in the car. So And just to going back to the movie itself, you know what I'm saying? The movie itself is just a good movie, you know what I'm saying? It had good action, you know, it had some good acting in it, and you know, like I said, it standing alone. Besides it being just a Marvel movie, you know what I'm saying? So, shout out to all them actors and Ryan Coogler for putting together a good movie and stuff for our culture. You know what I'm saying? Something that another movie that people on the outside can finally get a scope to see what's going on the inside with us a little bit. So, now that we're on the show, we're gonna talk about a little bit, who our top 5 rappers are. So, Lee, you want to go first? What your top 5 are?
You want to know me first?
Okay, well, let's see.
Alright, I mean, first, let me just, we gotta, obviously, you gotta define your top 5 when you say top 5.
Criteria.
Number 1, we talking about all time dead or alive. Number 2, we're not talking about best rapper, as in who can spit the best, like, most bars straight. We're not talking about, like, who's just, like, you can just put him out and say he's, like, yo, I can't rap better than him. I can rap better than everyone. We're not talking about that. We're talking about, I'm talking about 5 best rappers that have managed to be great artists as well.
And it's opinionated. You know what I'm
And
saying?
it's opinionated.
And with music a little bit, it's kind of hard to just give a top 5 with there being so many great rappers out there.
Yeah,
so,
and it's opinionated, but my opinion is fact.
That's fine.
It was written.
That's fine.
Which is key, because I don't know if Nas is in my...
Nas will not be in my 5. I can tell y'all that.
Which
I
is
wasn't even
crazy.
referencing it. I was talking about what was in the stars. I mean, you can't get
I
back
have-
to profit now. So I mean,
And my 5 is a little ill, but it is 5. I have, number 1, I have Pac.
Like, give me on the food, breaking out the door, and after a year, and you just like, you know what I'm saying? I'm picking the lock, coming through the door, blasting,
Because of his influence, not only was he able to make dope music, but his influence as a person and what he did culturally, the person he was, the type of energy he put out into the universe, how it was so bipolar, as in he showed you rage and he showed you wisdom, he showed you passion and he showed you compassion. He showed you so many things all in such a short period of time
That's true.
we haven't seen that impact before in rap. So I have to give Pac number 1 for that. And his music was cold.
Was it?
Stop the show. And then number 2, I gotta go with Hov, Jay-Z. Because impact, again, influence, lyrically is top 5 either way you put it. As a rapper, talented rapper, Jay is always gonna be, top 5 in that as well. And then business acumen, what he showed us, lessons he's given the game have been crazy. The way he's allowed people to open their minds and be able to elevate. So Hov gotta go in the 2 slot for me. And he's not even one of my favorites, but he's in my top. He's number 2 for me. But right after Hov, I am going with Ye. I'm talking Kanye, because Kanye is crazy. I mean, when you look at his catalog of albums, it's not paralleled by a lot of people. Who has that many albums that are that dope and have changed the game.
It's not parallel.
And produced and made hit records and spit bars and did everything in one, and has been an international type of super icon that Kanye is. So Pac, J, Ye, K. Lamar. I'm putting him in 4. All time already.
Okay.
He's shown me enough right now. He could not make another song and he'll be my number 4 rapper of all time. Number 1 lyrically, it's only a couple people active right now who can touch him. 2, maybe 3, and historically there's a few more than that, obviously. But he's a top lyricist. You can put him in any era, he'll dominate easily. His artistry, he does things with the sounds that nobody else do. The way he construct the album, the way he write a song, and with his 3-verse structure. Well, he'll tell you his perspective, her perspective, then my perspective, all in one song, and do 3 verses. That's crazy how he does that. Kendrick is just crazy. So he got to be number 4 for me. And the number 5 is kind of it's a tie between Andre 3 Stacks and Nas because Nas obviously is Nas, like crazy catalog historically what he lyricist of all time Rick, but for me Andre 3 Stacks music just resonate better with me. Like he's just more melodic, more groovy, more more just creativity for me.
Versatility with
and styles, versatility, the things that 3 Stacks is able to do is ridiculous. And Nas is dope too, but it's I'm probably going with 3 Stacks at 5. 3 Stacks at 5. So Pac, Hove, Ye, Dot, Stacks.
You want to go next?
I like that
I'm
top
excited about this topic now. That was cool.
I like that top 5. And kind of back to the criteria. Everybody's criteria. Everybody has their own personal criteria. Part of my criteria. I like artists that have a lot of versatility. I like artists that have a lot of creativity as well too with their styles. And also with not only song structure, but being able to produce and use different types of instrumentals, being able to experiment throughout the years as they evolve as artists as well. Not only in their personal life, but also being able to sonically change how we listen to a track, where it's not just the same setup, A, B, A, B, A, B, A, B. They're able to change it. So in my top 5, my first one that I have is Tupac. That's bar none. He's damn near Teflon, kind of like MJ in that sense, where he affected the game, obviously, in the music industry, but he also affected and touched so many people out of the industry and touched not only his community, but other communities globally and across the world. So
I know white girls that cried when Pac died.
See, we didn't see. First of all, we didn't see when Pac passed and when Biggie passed. Look how many people was at the funeral.
See,
look how many people they touched and that both of them affected. So, in particular with Pac, he also got cut short from being. He probably would have went down as actually one of the better actors that we've seen.
And activists.
So it's like he alone was doing so many things in such a short span of time. Not only, in music, with having tons of catalog, tons of songs and tons of albums, but also in his acting. So Tupac for me is 1. Number 2 may surprise some people, and I'm hoping you guys recognize and acknowledge his name because he is Soul Brother number 2. He is Soul Brother number 2, and it's Ab Soul. You gotta know that Soul is one of the most, if not the most, versatile artists that you will ever listen to. And I'm not just saying that. It is fact. You got to listen to him.
What's crazy is I actually have in my back pocket an argument that Soul is number 1. The greatest of all time.
And that's all that is. And that's the thing with an artist like Ab Soul.
And y'all don't even know it.
And y'all, that's the thing, like he's almost a mythical creature. See? That's what's really crazy about it. He's
top dog, underdog,
a god. It's like he's almost a myth because a lot of people really don't know him, and even the people that do know him don't know him. Mm-hmm. So you have to you have to take some time when it comes to Ab Soul within the Top Dog collaboration. You got to take some time to actually get to know him. But if you do, and when you guys do, you will see he's one of not only the deepest thinkers that you will find. He's also one of the most complex minds that you will find when it comes to music and when it comes to his internal self. And that's all I'm going to give y'all with.
Big.
Now, let's go to number 3. My number 3 is Jay-Z. Jay-Z even, kind of bouncing to, back to some of what Leek was saying. His versatility and his catalog kind of speaks for itself. He's had the type of albums that he's had and where he's come from shows a lot, and where he was able to basically put Marcyville on his back from the East Coast, come out of the projects, come out of a life of selling drugs and be able to become a business mogul, be able to become a CEO of Rockefeller, be able to sign artists to Rock Nation. So he's done so much for the game and for himself, but he's also done so much outside of the game and for other people as well. Don't forget now, he's with Beyonce. Beyonce's with him. He helped her as well when it came to her career too. So, he's done so much. And I think that him as an artist, he's shown complete consistency, and he's definitely one of the better artists that we've seen. So my number 4 is going to be Kanye. Kanye, to be able to start off his career as a producer, and for Jay-Z to help him, and kind of give him an opportunity as well, and for Kanye to basically snatch it and, to take it by the horns and to take the opportunity and to be one of the greatest artists that we've ever seen, to be able to use so many different sounds in his music, I think to me is what always stands out about Kanye. Where you're going from College Dropout, rapping and trying to finish a song when you got your cheeks, you got stitches in it from being in a car crash and and getting your jaw wired up. That shows not only the passion that he had for the music, that shows the willpower that one person has to want to take advantage of the opportunity that was sitting in front of him.
Every album was iconic.
Every album was iconic in its own way. You had College Dropout, then you have Late Registration, and then you have Graduation. You're seeing almost like a 360, like it's coming full circle for him.
And then 808s was crazy.
808s was ridiculous. He's the one
credited
credited the new wave.
He changed the game 2, 3, 4, 5 times. He done changed the game. Just him and so alone.
Him in particular, him reinventing himself, and he comes out with My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasies.
And Watch the Throne.
Yeah, him and Jay had the duo album. I mean, so it's like he's done so many things, and album in and album out, he's changed the game so many different times. Now for my number 5, I gotta go with K-Dot. Yes, we knew Kendrick when he was K-Dot, before he became that and before he blew up. So we were able to see his growth from when he started to now. And it's just great. I'm proud of him. It's cool seeing him, be able to be Grammy nominated, Grammy winner, and albums going double platinum, and, be able to change the way, the game is looked at, to where you can still be a conscious rapper and still get to the main stage, still get to a Grammy Award, still get to perform on at the ESPYs or different award shows and stuff like that. So to me, he's done a ton for the game as well, and he also put on for the West Coast too. So Kendrick's my number 5. So just to run it back, my top 5. My number 1 is Tupac. My number 2 is Absolute. Soul Brother number 2. And then number 3 is Jay-Z. Number 4 is Kanye, and number 5 is Kendrick.
All right, so y'all left the best for last. You know what I'm saying? I'm not even a rapper out of the group. You know what I'm saying?
That's all right.
Tupac being number 1, brutally honest he was in his music, painting the pictures he was for our society and whatnot, what our culture goes through. He was definitely an activist in his music. You know what I'm saying? Preaching things that we needed to hear in a sense, and painting pictures that it was crazy. You know what I'm saying? Very vivid, and something really real to us. You know what I'm saying? Something real to a society and a culture, and just what he did outside of rap was so big. Like you said, talking about acting. You know what I'm saying? His juice, you know what I'm saying? His character and juice alone. I mean, that's just one of the best roles, and the things that he was talking about, the things that he was saying in that movie were just so big. And you know what I'm saying? Just what he did outside of rapping, just some of the times when you hear him just talking about stuff. You know what I'm saying? That's teaching in a sense. You know what I'm saying? Being a leader for a society that doesn't have a leader at times. You know what I'm saying? For people who don't have a leader. And that's why I got Tupac being I say number 1, just because everything that he was talking about, all the things that he was trying to do for his people, And you know what he was doing just outside of rap was just so big, and he was a game changer. He was bigger than just rap. You know what I'm saying? He was a culture. He was a vision. He was you know what I'm saying? He was a leader, and you know he had something that not a lot of people in the rap game now have, which is I feel like a following that's more than just, like I said, like a rap following. He's like he was literally leading people at a time. You know what I'm saying? And that's big when you're talking about, you know, someone who's rapping or, you know, acting in movies or whatnot. When you have that sort of following, like LeBron kind of does in a sense. So my next artist after Pac that I'm going to talk about, I'm not really sure if I have him there as 2 or any certain number, but I'm going to put Cole in there.
Rapper left from independent, crying in the corner, cause I ain't in the sorta, kinda dissing niggas, I'm borderline addicted to slow.
I know a lot of people hate on Cole, which I don't even understand. Crazy. But Cole has been one of the craziest artists from the beginning, as in regards to what he's been talking about, the pictures he's been painting, the storytellers. I mean, he has songs back in old albums that has storytelling that he does in albums now. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's 5 albums, you know, past it. So
give him his credit.
Cole has been just one of the best artists in regards to lyricism, sound itself, how it sounds, his wordplay, just his rap game, is, you know, just his flow, what he can do on tracks, his multiple flows. I mean, Cole has just been one of the greats. And I know a lot of people didn't like this last album, For Your Eyes Only, but he literally had an album written from a different perspective of another person, his best friend, talking about life situations he was going through and about his daughter. You know what I'm saying? So he's not even writing from his perspective. He made a whole album from someone else's perspective.
I thought
it wasn't even really an album. It was just him storytelling in a sense. And I mean, it was great. I really enjoyed it. So Cole is just, I mean, I think he's just got to be up there, especially, like I said, I listen to what someone's talking about, and what he's talking about is big. You know what I'm saying? He's painting pictures of life situations that we all go through on a daily basis, even small thoughts, you know what I'm saying? Small things that we don't even like to tell the people about he's talking about in his music, you know what I'm saying? So when you're talking about things like that, I got to put him up there, because you got artists like Uzi Vert and all these other cats not talking about nothing that y'all already listen to, which I don't really understand, but Cole's up there, you know what I'm saying? I think he's definitely one of the top 5 in all time. You know what I'm saying? I think it's like we talked about it being opinionated, but Cole's up there. You gotta give him his respect. Next, I'm gonna talk about 3 Stacks. I mean, just versatility at its finest. You can get anything from 3000. You know what I'm saying? He might be the most versatile rapper in the history of rap. You know what I'm saying? That's
facts.
That's probably number 1.
That's facts.
You know what I'm saying? So just based on that, you gotta put him up there in the top 5, and then like I said,
he's another one of those mythical creatures.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? And what he was, and while doing that, while being conscious and talking about real things, that's even better. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, he created his own wave, and he's been in a wave that people can't even recreate. You know what I'm saying? He has his own wave, and people can't even recreate it. There's not a lot of artists can do what he does lyrically. He's in my top 5, you know, for that reason. And if I'm gonna go with another rapper after the 3 I just mentioned, I was having trouble because there's just so many great rappers, a lot of interchangeable. I mean, I have Jay-Z off on my list, but he can obviously be up there. But if I'm gonna have someone, I gotta put Ye up there. You know what I'm saying? Kanye has been a trendsetter in a sense in the rap game, just creating new wave after new wave after new wave. And let's not mention what he does in producing music. You know what I'm saying? If he touches one of your songs, it's gonna be fire. You know what I'm saying? So Kanye's always been from, you know, album 1, maybe not some of his last recent albums, but he's been, you know what I'm saying, on lyrically one of the best, talking about some of the realest stuff, going through some of the realest things, and being able to paint that picture for us, you know what I'm saying, coming from his side of the lifestyle, what he was going through, like you talked about with the car accident, his mother dying, a whole bunch of things that he went through that, you know what I'm saying, that we were able to see through his music.
His whole journey.
Yeah, his whole journey through his music. You know what I'm saying? And that's hard to do. I'm not a rapper, but I imagine being able to put the things that you're going through in your life into a track and making it so that everybody wants to listen to it and people want to hear it. I mean, I feel like that's crazy hard, and I got mad respect to Kanye for what he's done for the music game, and I mean, the music that he's created, like I said, he's literally created music that people are trying to copy now at this point. He's created waves, you know what I'm saying? When you can do that in a rap game, that has to put you in the top 5 somehow.
Oh, yeah.
And then after that, man, you know, Kendrick. You can't deny Kendrick throne, especially right now being in the rap game. Him next to Cole, to me, are the top, you know, rappers in the game right now. What they do lyrically, what they're talking about, how they're able to paint the pictures for our culture, you know what I'm saying, and do it on a mass level to where everybody wants to listen to it, and it's important, you know what I'm saying, because there's white people out there, there's people around this world that don't know what we go through, you know what I'm saying, that don't know what's going on behind the scenes, and they're our voice, in a sense, you know what I'm saying? So when they're able to be a medium from us to a bigger world, you know what I'm saying, because for y'all, it might be a small thing going on, but it's big for us over here, you know what I'm saying? So for them to paint that picture and be able to put it out there, put it through a scope for y'all to see, you know what I'm saying? I gotta put Kendrick up there, you know what I'm saying? Not a lot of rappers are doing that and making it good enough to where the music is just, it's undeniably good, you know what I'm saying? Just from top to bottom, lyrically, the sound, the flows, it all just goes so well together with Kendrick, and at the same time, he's preaching, you know what I'm saying? And that's what we need. So just to run back through my top 5, it's Tupac, definitely at number 1, and then the rest you can put in any order you want. Tupac at 1, and then the rest is Cole, 3 Thou, Ye, and Kendrick. So, ladies
we
and
all
gentlemen,
pretty much agreed on Ye, Kendrick, and Pop.
Kendrick.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's...
And 3 Thou, I mean, you didn't really go with 3 Thou, but
I would have, I mean, 3 Thou definitely.
Yeah, I mean, and,
definitely up there.
and going back to what we originally started before, you know, the conversation, the rap game is so big, you know what I'm saying, in regards to the rappers that we're talking about and what they've done to the game, you know what I'm saying? Even I kept Jay-Z off the list, but it's like, how could you keep Jay-Z off the top 5 list? You know what I'm saying? You say that with Nas, you know what I'm saying? And you say that with Wayne. And there's just a lot of...
I was just saying this one's done. This one's full. It's a lot of full, but it's recording on there. I mean,
Let's just join the song.
All right, y'all. That's it for Free Game Podcast, episode 3. Thanks for checking us out on the couch, chilling in this chill setting. It's your boy EJ.
Sean P.
Man, this is Free Game.
Free Game on the couch.
I'm a creator, so if you wondering just who I be, if you wondering just follow me. Said if you wondering just who I be, if you wondering